Hello, everyone, and welcome to Girls Run These Worlds. Tonight we're going to be playing Dark Rites and Other Forms of Exploitation, which is a Deviant the Renegades game. Quick note, this is a horror game, so throughout the campaign we'll be dealing with certain hard themes of isolation and other darker themes that come along with the game that I suddenly am blanking on. I am Nerdy Teddy. You can usually find me over on Nerds with Dice, playing running games over there. I'm going to start us out. Y'all are in Milwaukee. I'm going to start early evening. So the city lights are starting to come on. You can see Lake Michigan off to one side of the city. Think of like a big panning shot over the city. And it comes down onto a building. And that building has the words Helping Hand written on a door. We're going to start with a surveillance roll. This tells us where the conspiracies are at. Tonight, I'm going to just focus on the one. I want us to get in emotion before we bring in the others. But you have a lead. You're starting with a lead on Helping Hands, so we're going to start by focusing on that one. So, to determine this dice pool, it's conspiracy standing. This is our first session, so you don't have a variation or scar that you've activated. Y'all have chosen where you live, correct?
Yes.
Is that in there anybody's name?
Yes, actually, ish. It is the Nightingale compound. It's a good clip out of town, out where it's about half farmland, half foresty. It used to be the cult compound. Specifically, the why do I not remember the name of my own cult? You can tell I'm so good at this. Well, the cult that used to worship me, and so the remains of that building is where we are set up.
Is that building, that property under your name?
I get to know property is under a shell company, which belongs to me now because there's no one left to take it from me.
Okay. Fleet, do you own a car?
I can't drive.
Okay, this one's connected specifically to you, so have you used any modern information technology? Do you use that with any frequency?
I think I use a library computer.
Okay.
Not well.
Okay.
iFleet
That is...
can use computers very well.
I'm sorry. That is a, unfortunate roll. That is 3 successes on 3 dice, which means... So, means their first action of the chapter will not account against their maximum actions, and it means that they can take normal actions against the cohort for the chapter.
You're wondering what this means. Nothing good.
Yes, it means that they have a guess of at least where Francine is. Speaking of, at the compound.
You mean Francis or Francine?
Francine.
Francis. Just checking.
Is it Francis or Francine?
It is
I think it's
Francis.
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 Yes.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
It happens.
We're going to zoom in to the compound. We're going to start with Nidra. Who are you? And then tell us more about Nidra.
Hi, I'm Abby. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Nidra Nakorchik. She is an autoergic invasive, which means she is a lady who really was interested in pushing the boundaries into what could be different about herself, and we'll see more of that along the way. But yeah, she is an individual with embedded technology in her and a connection to that technology.
And what does she look like?
Oh yeah, Nidra is a heavy-set woman, short, light brown hair, early 30s, brown eyes, and basically like kind of a button-up blouse and jeans. She's. I was about to say, aside from her implant that helps house some of the more fiddly electronics, she is otherwise kind of normal looking.
Okay. And where does Nidra usually hang out at the compound? And what does this space look like? I want to get an idea of what your characters are like here.
Sure. When Nidra is around the complex, not always a guarantee, but she definitely, otherwise she'll sit lonely in her little space at the apartment. So she'd much rather hang out, at least some socializing with people. And she does have a computer rig set up. It is painfully slow. This far out, it is just the fraying nerve of trying to milk a connection that clearly was not meant for what she wants it to do. And it is just a space off. I'm sure it was some sort of like office space in the complex at some point. She has done everything in her power to make it a little nicer. Like, she has found the few like decently comfy office chairs left, and like dragged at least 2 of them in, and has set up at least her second computer rig.
It's shocking that a cult doesn't have good Wi-Fi. You'd think they'd use it to look things up, to know more things about the world. I'm so surprised.
This building has been through better times.
Okay. Thank you. And moving on to Gale.
God, that was me for a minute. So funny. All right. Hi, I'm Arnica, she, her, and I will be playing Gale, the biomechanical bird god. Kind of. Almost. Once was. Maybe. And so Gale is enormous. Gale is well over 6. She's like 6'3". She is very heavily muscled. Which in itself would be striking enough if she did not also have an enormous set of wings at full extension. They are almost 18 feet across. They are about 3 times her height, so they are technically big enough to lift her off the ground. She has a full peacock's fan. It is sized for her, so it drags almost 12 feet behind her. She's an enormous refrigerator of a being, constantly moving through spaces that outside of the compound are not designed for someone quite as large as her. And because of this, she is not very graceful. She looks graceful. She looks elegant and beautiful distance, Thankfully, she's quite comfortable taking it out with quite violently. She doesn't feel bad about it when she does. And Gail is right now hanging out in her room. It is the heart of the master building. There are about 10 outbuildings in the compound itself, most of which have fallen down over the last 8 years. But the big house remains pretty well put together. That's where we all have rooms, whether we stay here full-time or part-time. And my room is still kept in very good repair because I've never left it. And right now I'm just kind of hanging out on my ridiculous bed.
All right. Let's go to May next.
Hello, my name is Jessie. My pronouns are she, he, they. Any pronouns are okay. And I'm playing May. May is a bit of a monstrous creature. So she has the overall form and shape of a, 5'3", relatively slim woman, young woman. She's 22. But most of her body has broken out into various plant life. There's flowers coming out of her head. She has moss and bark and things all over her. So this is kind of an imitation of what is everywhere on her, essentially. And yeah, she kind of spends her times both at the compound with everyone else, and now and then she switches over and stays in the city. She has a space there that when she needs to get stuff done, she can, but she doesn't like to be there too long, just in case, the people looking for her come knocking.
Moving to Francis next.
Hi, my name is Fleet, pronouns she, they. You hear Frances before you see her, as you always do, belting off-key at the top of her lungs, some strange hit from the 1930s to the 1960s. In fact, this time, Que Sera Sera. You can't hear the music since this large 6'5" hulking menace of a clay golem is trying to lug parts of the broken down buildings back to the main compound, a tiny pair of Walkman headphones attached to her head, and a long cord strangles down. It looks as though it's been repaired to an even longer part of the cord, probably from Nidra as an assistant, since it didn't quite reach all the way up to the large, almost rounded slope of their head. They're dancing as best they can for a giant rock monster, and their small eyes are closed as they sing into what appears to be a pipe as they just belt it out. Since they are 70 miles away from anything, he's careless of who hears them. They also improvise a little bit of a guitar solo, which, if you know Que Sera Sera, does not exist in the song. And they begin to drag it back. The most notable thing that you need to know about Frances is that she has the word Emet across her neck, or what is the neck, or would be the neck. She is unmistakably a Jewish golem. The faintest wisp of a Yiddish accent can be heard in her voice. Someone ultra-Orthodox who is long since left the religion, OTD as we like to say. And she drags the large pipe back, actually looks back and hefts an even larger one on her shoulder handily and begins to pull it back. I mean, who else is going to upkeep Gail's bedroom? She just, by staying in it, doesn't stay up. And that's Frances. It doesn't.
Okay, and Christiana.
Hello there, lovelies. My name is Angela. I use she, her pronouns. And for this occasion, I am going to be playing Christiana Oliveira. She's about 6 feet tall. She's kind of depending really some days and how she carries herself, she actually holds up to the full 6 feet, and other days she carries herself, she's probably looking at like 5'8", 5'9", because she's usually very hunched in to herself and very anxious and on edge all the time. She has kind of a short pixie cut, usually wearing just plain shirts with button-up shirts over it, but always very casual. She occasionally is around the house in a hoodie, but um, she kind of looks like every now and then she's in pain because she probably is at some point or is dealing with the after effects of being out or trying to be around things that are painful. And she is probably like tucked in her room, like where it's very dark, very where she feels very content and safe. But I think she conspicuously, for however long Francis is singing, has just cracked open her door ever so slightly just to listen in and just to mildly be involved with everyone. But she definitely is like she definitely fits the bill of like the moment you make a noise around a mouse, like it just scampers off. She's that person pretty much, and she's just kind of there, just a bit on edge and trying her best to get involved.
We're 19
Ray.
minutes in. Don't make me cry. Don't do it.
Try me.
Nidra, you get an alert. You've been monitoring posts online, and you've seen a few of their posts. Hold on, I'm just looking up what I wrote because I suddenly forgot.
Is this about Lover's Lane Fight Club?
Thank you. Yes. You've been monitoring their... You have an alert set up for Lover Lane Fight Club's posts. They've been posting a lot about helping hands being more and more present in their neighborhood. They also have been attempting to reach out to people who may know their friend Jennifer to see if anybody's seen her. You get another alert that they're posting again.
Okay. What's the new message?
The new message, she's talking about there being... Hold on, gotta fix this. There being, 3 vans in the alley next to the library where she's currently posting from. Usually they're not in groups. There's only 1 or 2 vans in like a couple blocks, so them being so close, so we're just posting about that. She also adds that she has been in contact with somebody who, like, she's talking like, oh, you know, I've managed to get a hold of somebody. They said they seen Jennifer the other day and that she's doing really good. I'm hoping to see her tonight after I leave. Just wanted to update everybody on seeing more of these vans. I never see them hand out actual supplies. I don't know what they're doing, but there's a lot of them tonight. And that's it.
Okay. Have we only identified this individual by their username, or do we have, anything else on them? Just because they've been posting for a bit.
How good are your computer skills?
Pretty good. And with anything for any of the conspiracies, she is very nosy.
Okay. So, let's get a roll then.
Sure.
This
First roll of the
is.
campaign.
Give me a second. This is going to be. Hold on, I need to look at a character sheet so I can actually see the attributes and skills that are available.
For our viewers' knowledge, the system has a lot of different things to it, so bear with us as This is the first time for all of us, actually.
So new with it.
Intelligence or wits, and then computer.
Okay.
Whammies. Wait, no whammies. Big money.
8s and 9s. 8s, 9s, and 10s are successes.
Mm-hmm. And this is not an explode again system?
If you roll 10s, you get to re-roll that dice and count the 10 as a success.
Excellent. That's what I was double checking.
My gosh, please go away, cat. Sorry.
That is 4 successes.
He's good at computers.
We got a badass over here,
I'm sorry,
y'all.
how many
This is-
successes was that?
4.
Okay.
Don't ask me to punch things, but
Be to punch thing.
Just look, it's important to be good at what you're good at, and that's all that matters. So, you know that her name is, I believe I said it was Sally?
we
That
have
sounds
Miss
right.
Sally. We have Miss Sally Whitcomb.
I should have pinned that post with that information, but I'll worry
I
about
gotcha.
that later. Thank you. Yes, Sally Whitcomb. You know from like her posts, you know that she always posts from the same library, nowhere else.
Okay.
That's all the info that's available.
Sure.
Oh, actually, you know what? For 4 successes, I'll give you that there is one other person who also has an alert set up to monitor her posts.
Okay. Interesting. No leads on that. Just it's something else is pinging as surveillance right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. All right. So yeah. Nidra will pop back with, because again it's just a open communication forum. So we'll come back with it's like, glad your friend's doing okay. Do you know, is it unusual to see like this many vans out? Like, is there some emergency going on?
She lets you know that like this is odd. I've never seen the vans all grouped up in one spot before, unless they're parked at the headquarters location. They don't group up. They're usually spread out.
While like the responses are coming in, Nidra will. Nobody else in the compound has like communication devices or chats or anything aside from maybe Tia, correct?
The one
Cool.
time you tried to give Frances a cell phone, it like broke day 2.
Mm-hmm.
She held it a little too hard.
Got it. And I know May has history with the interwebs.
Yes.
So does May have a phone at all?
She probably at this point has a flip phone just for safety, so it's harder to track her. So no internet, but she can
Got it.
talk. It's like a burner,
Is it-
right?
Is it
All
like a pink razor?
Maybe. It's probably yes.
So yeah. Then in that case, Tia's phone will chime with the, "Hey, I'm talking to somebody. online who's says that there's a really big helping hands thing happening in their neighborhood right now. They've got a friend missing. I think I mentioned this one. Can you get other people to come this way?
I think it takes a minute or two for her to give an actual response, because the moment that you sent the message, she she got startled because she forgot the phone was on her desk, and she immediately threw it onto her bed because she actually had a moment of forgetting what a phone was,
Oh no.
because she was so startled. And then she goes and she's like, "Did you want me to grab the house?" Like textually, is grab household or grab outside people? I'm confused. I'm sorry. I'm not parsing this well. Please explain.
I would like us to go check on this, but that takes maybe a group or maybe us deciding who's going into town. So we should talk
Oh.
about this.
Okay. Just that sounds right. Got it. Sure. Like, and
Thank you,
all the like following all the words she's saying, she's like texting that as well, because she doesn't actually know when to end the statement or send the message, so she's just on edge the whole time, and it's just like just a loud creak of the door of a it's like, y'all, house meeting, I think. House meeting. Slowly walks back into her room and tries to close the door, and then remembers she has to be involved with the house meeting.
Yeah, at hearing that, May would open up her door and look down the hall and see that Christiana's going back in her room and be like, aren't we supposed to go to the meeting?
Right.
Is it in your room?
No. It's not in my room. It's not. Like, starts doing the like clench up body, like waddle over to like whatever living room we have, where she's just like, she's a very like contained inside herself person.
Yeah, so even though May is much shorter at only 5'3", May has a little bit more of a, she's a little
Presence.
more exuberant feeling. Yeah, so imagine just like a little flower just being, okay, let's go to the living room. And leads the way.
Like Nidra's just looking at her phone, like, help me, Tia, you're my only hope. Like, seriously.
Just gathering everyone and just like trying to get everyone's attention and
Sarah!
message you.
Sarah, whatever will be, will be. And Francis is just singing outside. It's like you can hear the music from the headphones. Those little like dinky back headphones.
From the thrift store,
Really from the thrift store.
where I got my phone.
It's like their fifth pair.
Oh, yeah.
Like messages Francis.
Francis
How's-
doesn't have a phone.
Oh
So,
right, fuck.
Where is
Already
Francis
forgot.
right now? Is Francis
Francis
inside or
is
outside?
on the way. Francis is on the way to the main compound. You can always pretty much hear where Francis is, whether it's the footsteps, because they are very big, very loud. They are made of rocks. Or it's the dragging of the pipe, or the off-kilter singing, or, you know, the trail of clay that just kind of is in her footprints. There's a lot of ways that they're not discreet. Subtle? No.
Okay, so by the time May probably gets out to the kitchen area, there's probably some kind of a window, and May probably looks out and says, "Oh, hey, Francis is outside. Hard to miss." Tia, do you want to get Francis or should I?
She goes non-verbal and she's just like gesturing at you, like just trying to indicate, like just like they're not saying words after her, but she's just like pointing at you, and she's just, you see her just like slightly scooting off to go over to wherever Gale is at the moment, and just like trying. I don't know if it's like you have a separate like you have a much bigger area because of the whole wingspan and refrigerator of a woman form, correct?
Yeah, so up on the second floor, which is the middle floor, this is a 3-story building. It's large. It's a pretty big building. Like a farmhouse thought it was a manor. One of those fucking Montana Lodge, like big, but I think I'm rustic. But oh, except it's raggedy now. So I'm coming down into the great room. It used to be a chapel and now it's a living room. So that's all, that's where we all are. And it has a couple pieces of regular human-sized furniture, and there's a lot of things that look like they're sex swings attached in this building that are not. They are, quite frankly, just places for me to sit. So there are all these attached swings and everything so that I can just essentially perch without crushing my tail or my wings. But it does look kind of odd until you see me sitting in it, and then you're like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, thank
Does
God.
Arnica, does that mean birds just sit on little sex swings?
I mean, you don't, but now one of us is buying the wrong stuff for our bird fleet.
Or sex swings are just really large bird perches, and we've all been mistaken.
Oh,
I
Lord.
read the instructions wrong. My bird's a dominatrix now.
Oh no.
Messed up. Bird's a dominatrix now. Sorry.
There's a comment to add in here about, the whole bird aspect and sex swing aspect don't need to be divorced, but I don't want to get into that thread. That's a whole other thread for a whole other stream. And we've
Sophia's
already
different
made
show.
Sophia.
All
So we're doing good.
right.
Yeah, so I've wandered down, and I'm sitting in my chair in my big swing, and we're just pretty much waiting for Francis to come in, I think.
No.
Okay.
I
So yeah,
don't know what's happening.
during all
Yep.
this, May would have gone outside and been like, Francis, Francis, and probably not have been, well, maybe have been noticed up to Francis. At some point, have been noticed. Francis, we're having a meeting in the house. Very large gestures. Meeting. We're having a meeting in the house.
All right. Immediately just drops the pipes on the ground with a huge clang, dirt flies up.
I fly up slightly.
But brush yourself off. Francis is gonna kind of duck under the door and come in and join the meeting.
I brought Francis.
What's going on?
ST. Before heading out to talk to everybody, we'll leave a note for Lovers Lane Fight Club as well, of just hey, this is a pretty open connection, just watch your back, because again, she's noticed the surveillance and is trying to be as helpful as she can without immediately flagging something. And then put the information over on her devices and head out to talk to people. Everybody in here? Okay, good.
Francis is on one of the big swings, just kind of awkwardly swinging back and forth.
Thanks. I know. I know we kind of don't always meet up like this, but okay, I'm just gonna really jump into it. So, you know how I've been keeping an eye out for people who are chasing us, because that's the safest way to do this. It looks like I got a hit off of the Helping Hand social org.
What?
Right. This one's your problem people, Fran. Looks like they've set up about 3 vans in a neighborhood, and one of the girls people is talking about how their friend went missing, but now they're getting reports that their friend is fine and they're going to meet up with them, and that sounds fishy as hell. So yeah, I think we kind of should look into it, but also somebody's watching the area.
Well, knowing Helping Hands, the community center, and Francis turns to the rest. I'm not sure if you all remember, but Helping Hands was the group that took me and what I am, I think. But it's a community center that provides resources and things to the community, but in reality traffics them.
Yeah.
Which is what happened to me. As my lady Doris Day says, que sera, sera. But
Well-
yes, those vans are not good news.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. And if they say that the person is fine, that more than definitely means no, they are not fine. They are very, very not fine. In fact, could be very dead. Could be very dead. Could be a trap.
Yeah. No, and that's why it's messing with all my things where I know we need to stay away and we need to stay safe, but also this is bad. This is happening to someone like right now, probably tonight or tomorrow. And I want to do something about that, but like I wanted to talk to y'all before I stuck my nose in.
Why stick just your nose in? Why not do the whole head? I'm in.
I appreciate the enthusiasm, Fran, especially given that they're gonna be like right there.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't know, like the people that. Anyway, yeah.
If I could kick fucking Diane's ass for selling all those essential oils or trying to me, ooh, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a very good day.
I don't
Also
know.
because of the golem thing, but also she kept trying to sell me essential oils. Who does that? In a lobby? What?
Okay. I do not know if there's a Diane on site. I do not have that report.
You
However,
better listen. You better find out.
no. I mean, what? Okay.
Do your computer magic.
Oh, okay. Thankfully, we do not live in an age yet where facial recognition is used on every corner. Nobody wants that. I appreciate the thought, but however, I am, like I was gonna say, I'm more than willing to go down there and get a lay of the land and report back what we're dealing with, or y'all can come. I don't think maybe crashing in. And she looks literally at the two huge, people in the room. It's like, I don't really think crashing in's gonna be like round one, but I do want to see if we can catch Sally at the library before she walks into anything.
Francis turns to Gale. Don't look now, but I think she's talking about us.
I am definitely talking about you.
I think she is talking about you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gail's gonna go ahead and stand up and stretch her wings. Just kind of a big full body stretch, all 6 limbs, tail out. And when she does, in the light, you can see that there is circuitry just underneath her skin. There's a tracery of it along the veins. She is biomechanical, and you hear the creak of those limbs moving, a whir of servos. When you're ready to deliver wrath and justice, let me know. Until then, I'm hungry. And I'm just going to wander off into the kitchen. I have been told I don't have to go to the library. That's good enough for me.
I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't mind some backup in the area, but okay. But yeah, no, I just really wanted everybody's thoughts or who's willing to, and just looks at Tia like, who is willing to maybe come with me?
All the other people who can't leave the house.
No, I mean, you can leave. I mean, at least May can like hoodie the hell up.
It's just
This beautiful
fashion.
body.
I have lots of hoodies. They're very fashionable.
Also, I am well aware of the fact that Fran can do little fingers. Fran can people shape. I know this.
I didn't know you watched Game of Thrones.
Don't do that.
Oh,
Oh,
No,
no.
no.
I can't.
Oh, never mind.
I can
I
little
think
fingers.
I think uh there's probably throughout the conversation, like for anyone who's looked in her direction, Tia has been trying to pay attention, but it's almost like she's been having an entire conversation with someone or something else that's nearby. And I think there's the faintest element of something like very shadowy, like right next to her. Like, if you imagine a person's like outline, and then you imagine someone like shading around it to like give it emphasis. That shading currently is like present, like right next to her, and it seems mildly avian shaped, but she just seems like she's mildly. Tia is pretty unnerved and trying her best to like stay focused on the conversation, but it's not a good time. She's definitely has something bothering her.
Tia,
Um,
are you okay? You
yeah,
seem
yeah.
maybe bothered, but I could be misidentifying that.
No, you're right. I'm sorry for not chiming in a whole lot more.
Oh, it's okay.
Things. What time of day is it, Storyteller? Out of
I was gonna
curiosity.
ask that too.
It's late evening.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I would be willing to go out with you, Nidra, to investigate to make it easier on other folks.
I worry that if she's gonna meet up with her friend later, and her friend's maybe not gonna be at that meeting, we should
Oh no.
try and intercept that.
Yeah.
Almost time.
Hmm?
It's almost time if it's tonight.
Right, so that's why I was saying house meeting now, talk now, go now. Excuse me, go now.
Yeah.
Since it's dark, I can come. I just have to, like you said, throw those good old hoodies on and put a big scarf on, and we'll be fine.
If I go, my fear is that they'll recognize me. They know my pre-shape, not necessarily this, but this is pretty hard to mistake. If the people skin is very itchy and very small, and I don't like it. But I like being very tall and not being able to drive. That's my thing now. But if May, you lend me a hoodie, I could come with you.
It might take 2 hoodies for you, but we can do it.
I think you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I was about to say, if you want to punch them, then let's try some stealth. And
Alright.
if Gale wants to like crash onto the top of a building and keep an eye on us, that is up to Gale. But I think we gotta move out.
Well, at this point, I'm going to wander back in because I have just been lurking on the other side of the door eating because I wanted to seem like I didn't care, but I totally cared. And I'm going to wander in, chewing on, like, I am just going to town on a pineapple. Like, I've peeled the pointy part off, but I'm eating it like an apple with the skin off, and I'm going to be like, there are too many small people. We'll take the truck. I have to go.
I like that
Because I
idea.
have a garbage old truck. Everything I have is garbage and old, but we do have it. We do have a garbage old bread truck, so old you can't see who it used to belong to. It eats a whole bunch of gas. It looks like there's a pervert in the back. Instead, there's a giant bird monster in the back.
That just means everyone will leave us alone.
It does. Nobody
It looks-
comes to this cargo van looking for candy.
And again, I am more than willing to drive the van. We got it. It's like, everybody go get ready. And also, seriously, keep an eye out because somebody is watching this. Like I am getting registers that somebody else is looking for posts from this girl, whether that's helping hands or somebody else who just knows what we're looking for. This has got some things about it that's very spooky for me.
By my recollection, Helping Hands doesn't have any kind of tech expertise. They're mostly a marketing ploy, really.
No, but like if somebody's talking about them, maybe they've got like a search register up.
Well, I'll go, do I have to be tiny? Do I have to be?
I mean, if you want to leave the truck at all, aside from like...
It's dark.
It's dark.
It's dark. All right.
Not the part where I said somebody's watching this, right?
You could always
Yes.
park in an alley, and you can just be tall next to the dumpster.
I could.
Said it's a garbage truck.
You're right. You're right. I'll change on the way. And then Francis gets up to go and like pack some like normal clothes and turns back dramatically to the bread truck. It's why they call us the Yeasty Boys. And turns and walks up to
Tia sinks about 3 more inches than usual, which puts her at about, might be starting to approach May's height now.
This turns
Amazing.
back around. Except for Christiana. Yeasty girl. Continues up the stairs. There's stairs.
Now
I
she's
think.
at May's height. Now she's actually fully at May's height.
May's flowers are just like opening and closing.
Like Nidra just looks at the group. It's like I know they hate it, but like it is. Yeah. This is. I just want us to not immediately make a huge scene. That's all.
No, immediately a huge scene. That's what we do in this house.
Yes. Tia's already starting to walk out the door to head towards the car, but as she passes you, she just says, I think you're doing a sensible thing. I think you're just trying to make sure we're not put in danger or anything else. But that's just what I think. I'm just gonna I'll be waiting in the car. She just scooch.
Okay. Important
Boy.
question. Who's driving?
Not me.
Either me or Nidra, I think.
I have points in drive.
I
Okay.
think I also have points in drive.
Oh, thank heavens.
Did I put... Yes, I did. I put 2 in drive because
Excellent. So both of us can drive.
both of us could drive.
A lot of
I knew
Olivia
drive.
Rodrigo's in here.
Oh, well, fine. Don't judge me.
So yeah, would Tia want to drive? That is the question.
No,
Cool.
but she will if necessary. I'm just noting it. Should you become incapacitated, there is one other very experienced driver. I, as a player, am not experienced in driving. My character is infinitely much more confident in driving than I am.
No problem.
I'm the opposite.
So we will get everybody into the bread truck. Into the
Hey, gathers up-
incredibly beat up truck.
May gathers up a bunch of hoodies for herself, for Francis, a couple for everyone else.
Francis will change if need be, but will stay in the truck until necessary. Francis really doesn't like being in their little meat sack anymore. They've become a rock. They're much happier.
Feels. Like, Nidra feels bad
So-
asking, but it's also like, ooh.
I want to go back to that body. Don't make me. Please, Mom. Don't make me go.
Okay.
No.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Nidra will start driving towards the library in the night. Or at least
like-
what time it is.
I feel like Gail and Francis are in the back because they're like so squished that they keep like gently shoving each other to make more room for themselves. Just like, meh.
Bless you both.
Okay. So my question then is, the library is at an intersection in the city. It's late enough, and this is in Wisconsin, that a lot of the stuff is actually closed already. When you get there, so is the library. There's some buildings and some parking lots like across the street. There's some places you can park. Where do you park?
She's gonna try and get at least some distance by a couple streets off of where those trucks were or are, because Sally mentioned that they were in a nearby alley. So Nidra's trying to dodge being like super close to those trucks.
Okay. You pull up. You can see all three of them lined up in this alley. Two of them are facing one direction, and then there's another one that is facing towards you. They can't really see you. You're far enough away that they don't see you or anything, but they're facing you, and the other two are facing away from you. The streets are pretty empty. Like, if you roll down your window, you can hear, like, the noises of a bar down the road a little bit. Every so often, a car drives through. You know, bad city lighting, you know. They should probably put up more street lights, but, you know, you can kind of see some things. The van facing you has their lights off. The one in the middle has their lights on. And then the other one outside of it has their lights off.
Okay, so two on the outside, lights off, facing out, and then the one in the middle, lights on.
Correct.
You mean headlights, or do you mean the lights
Yeah, the
in
headlights.
the car itself? Okay. Oh.
How long do you sit and wait? Assuming you want to watch what they're doing.
Oh, I'm edgy about this, because if she's already left, she could be in one of the vans.
Do we see a sign of a struggle at all? Like, if they're, especially because we're in a street corner, and I know Milwaukee's cleaner than New York, but, like, are there trash cans that are tipped over? Does it look like there's been signs of a struggle at all on this street?
Let's see. Do you have
Probably not.
investigation?
I
At
do.
all?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I have 2 points in investigation.
Ooh.
Like a Jewish detective. Ooh.
So either intelligence or wits, and then roll your, combine that with your investigation.
Okay. Ooh. 10, 10.
Ooh.
Is that a 1 or a 10?
Does it have a 0?
So 1, no. So it's not. That's a 1. So I have 2 10s out of 5.
You re-rolled them?
Oh,
Yeah,
no, I
reroll
didn't.
both of them. Yep.
4 and a 5. So 2 successes.
Okay, so 2 successes is enough. At first glance, it doesn't look like there's any struggle or anything. You know, the garbage cans all seem to be in place. Nothing out of place. But after you sit here for a while, you notice that there is, hidden in the bush, it looks like that, like up by the building, it looks like there's a jacket on the ground, tucked almost underneath the bush.
I'm going to kind of hustle Gale out of the way because I'm trying to get to the little front entrance. I'm assuming there's like a path towards... Are we in like the back of the bread truck where there's no way to get to the passenger side? Or like, is it a closed off bread truck? Is it a van? Like, what are we looking at? Mystery Machine or Lori?
I am in Booneyville. I live in Maine, and so I am very genuinely picturing a 19 50s bread truck, which we still have running in my area in a couple places, where it is a large back. It's not quite as big as a moving van,
Okay.
but it is sealed off. However, we have probably modified it at least with a little slide door so that you and I can be like, I'm hot. I have to pee. I want some
AC,
water.
AC. I'm gonna slide that open now. I'm gonna get a little wrap on Midra's side and kind of lean across.
Yeah.
Look in the bush.
Can I see it now that they're pointing it out?
Yes.
You still want to play this safe?
Not really, but I'm just gonna wreck 3 vans.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Oh boy. Okay.
What's up? What's
Yeah,
up here?
I guess this is what we're doing tonight. Shit.
Well, Nidra, you're in luck. It seems like Thea might have an idea. Oh, that rhymed. Francis high fives themselves.
I can try and see if I could get more sense of what happened here a little while ago, if you would like.
I don't like not having information.
Okay.
Would that hurt you, though, Tia?
I can manage.
All right.
So I was hoping to make use of a variation, which is in this system our abilities to use Shadows of the Past, which I can target an area or a character within range or the deviant's current location, and I can have visions that grants me can last anywhere from a single turn to several hours. And with the magnitude I have, I get random moments in the target's past. They're not super clear to get a full history, but they're always able to reveal something about the current goals we have. It is, however, a controlled... oh no, wait, it's just persistent. No, it's just persistent, yeah. So I think that one is just... it just happens if I choose to do that. If I'm remembering that correctly.
Now my internet's being slow. Hold on a sec.
No worries.
And I'll come in clutch with the Control F. Gotta remember where variations are.
But yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
she just targets the spot to just try and do that. I don't, as far as I can tell, if I have this, if I understand this correctly, there is nothing I have to roll, I think, because I think it's only controlled variations where I have to have it to roll to see if it's going to work out, and this is a persistent one.
It is directed, tiered, and toggled. You get to turn it on and off.
Controlled.
I think essentially. Gotta love new systems.
Yeah, sorry about this.
no.
Shadows of the Past. It's under persistent, you said?
Yes.
There it
It's
is.
page 129. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, settled, direct, tiered, and toggled. Essentially, yeah, she's... it's, at least in describing the effects of it, while you're to give you a moment to take a look at it, Sophie, if you still need to review it. I kind of imagine is that you just see Tia starts to become a lot younger all of a sudden. Like she shifts back to a presentation that's definitely a little bit more masculine, and there's definitely an edge of uneasiness to her. Like I think she catches her reflection in the like rearview mirror that she's seeing in the car, and she's put on edge immediately, but she like looks down and is just, it's like a bird like sort of being just kind of emerges, like as if she were wearing a cloak, and just sort of swoops and flies on the ground, just trailing along to the spot, and is just trying to like pull back moments in time.
And what magnitude do you have?
Only one, so it's not going to be anything like major. It's only going to be hazy and scattered, but it will reveal something relevant to our goals, and it will grant a bonus in the next relevant roll equal to half scar power, rounded up. So
Okay.
it's more just to have a sense of like more info, like Nidra put it, but she's just trying to pull back threads.
Yeah, and you're right. It doesn't look like you have to roll for that one, so.
Yeah.
You, assuming you're doing the location, right? You want to do
the location basically around
so
us.
you get like a few. It starts out with a few like sparse glimpses of various library patrons, and then just as the library is closing, someone comes out. For player knowledge, this is Sally that comes out. They sit down on, there's like a picnic table bench outside, out in front of the library. They sit down on it. They flip open like a little flip phone, look at it for a little bit, close it, and then they sit there. They try to pass the time for a little bit, and then eventually they meet. So like somebody comes up and starts talking to them. They get up, and then they start walking around the corner of the building, nearish the bush that they go by, and then that's when the vision ends. So she was there, and she did meet with somebody, and she was walking around the corner towards the back of the building where the vans currently are.
Yeah, I think her eyes have gone a mix of pure red and pure black, and there's a sort of disjointed, like dissonant aspect to the voice that's speaking, like just says all the details Sophia gave us, but it's like coming through like there's 3 different voices. They all sound like they should be Christiana's, but they are from like very different ages, and she is just sort of like entirely dissociated, and then she comes back. That's what I have. And her appearance starts going back to what it normally is.
So yeah, sounds like we're probably up for can opener then. I mean, unless somebody else has an idea.
Francis turns around. I think she called you a can opener to Gale.
Not the first time, not the last.
So, Gail's so happy. Love being a can opener. This is my favorite game. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna hop out the back of the truck, and I'm going to use I'm gonna go ahead, and we're near an alley, correct? You said we're like right in a different alley. We're like kitty corner to them. Like, how many roofs would I have to cross to drop down on top of their van?
Okay, I'll leave that one to the SD.
You wanted to be close enough that you could get a glimpse of what was going on, but not too close that you were easily spotted, correct?
Right.
A little bit back. I'd say you'd have to cross like 4 or 5, and then there's going to be a street, like a 2-lane street in between that building and where the library is.
Yeah, so you've got the high ground. I know you're good for that. Again, they'll know Fran is possibly as soon as they see. I don't like walking out there, but I will distract if people need a chance to get at that center car.
Why don't you 3 put on the hoodies now? I wouldn't want your faces being seen.
Always appreciated, thanks.
No problem. I may be big, but I got good ideas.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm not discrediting anybody's ideas. I'm just really nervous. Okay,
Hey,
sure. So I'm gonna hoodie and then go see about getting that front car distracted, maybe moved. Fuck, I don't know. And then aim for the middle, I guess. Shit.
and
Ooh.
can I...
Oh,
go ahead.
I do have one idea. No one will like it, but I have an idea.
I really love
It
it.
anyway.
I can try and get to get new orders from their phones.
Ooh.
That's
How? What?
that's what I can do. That's not like directly there.
Interesting.
Well,
Okay, so before that happens, I
Oh,
want
boy.
something to happen. So
You got it.
the van facing you,
Mhm.
a car pulls up in front of it and then pulls into the spot, parks. They turn on their headlights and pull up towards the edge of the street. Someone gets out of this car. It's like a big, bulky, like, boat of a car. They have a box, like a donation box. Like, looks like it has blankets and stuff in it. They hand it to someone in the van, and then that van leaves, but the other two stay.
Okay. So now it's down to 2 vans.
And the car. Is the car still there?
The car
Or did
is
they-
currently still there. The person hasn't got back in their vehicle just yet.
All right. Distract them. Don't let them go. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab the fire escape nearby and just climb up onto the roof and start heading towards the road. You guys will know that you need to distract them as I glide across the road, because otherwise I am visible like Batman in a yellow room. I can't believe he tried to hide in the upper corner of a yellow room. 6'2", Ben Affleck, big black bat, yellow walls. I'm sorry, I'm still mad about that. It was ridiculous.
Anyways, I haven't seen it yet.
that was the biggest spoiler. That was a huge spoiler. Turns out the
It was
yellow
the best
room was
part
the
of the
bad guy
movie.
the whole time.
Okay.
While this fandom conversation is happening in Gail's head, just a long thread of being angry, Nidra, you feel Tia's hand like rest against you. Do you need help? Do you want a bit of luck to try and deal with the situation?
Sure. Any luck in a storm, I guess.
Yeah. She's going to try and make use of blessing,
Ooh.
which is another variation that I have, which is once per scene, I can bestow a stroke of good fortune of moderate improbability. And if it's applied to rolls, the target enjoys a bonus equal to half star power rounded up. This one, though, I do need to roll for, because this is a controlled one. So this one I would need to see if it's successful. Which, according to this, it would be Scar Finesse plus Variation Magnitude, because it is Magnitude 2, so that's 2 in the pool, and then it is Scar Finesse, which on mine, my Scar Finesse, on my, one moment while I do this, blessing, I'm trying my best here, everybody.
Yep.
We believe in
be-
you.
It'd be a
He's
pool of
pulling
4.
up the-
It'd be a pool of 4 overall. Yeah, I have 5 docs that I've created specifically for this game. So there's a pool of 4 to try and see if I can get the successes needed to do this. So I will do that right. That's 1. That's 1 success. That's a 9. I think that
is-
works.
that
Literally
is-
anything.
yeah. Which power is this again? Sorry.
So this is blessing. So this is under I have the specifics for you. I can read out the whole thing. It's at magnitude 2. It basically just means the next time that Nidra applies this to a roll, she will have a bonus up to half my scar power, which my scar power is. So that would be that one, which is mental. My scar power would be 3 on that, so half of that, so it would be 1.5. So you would have a bonus of two dice on this with blessing, which is pretty good.
Ah.
But yeah, she's just she like reaches out, and you feel like I think you get a glimpse of what Tia sees most of the time, which is there's the world around you, but there's every bit of shadow and every bit of things in motion and moving backwards, and then what's happening to it forwards. Like if for anyone who's ever done the little like artist things where someone gets like a tiny little like post-it notes and then they draw one image on one and one image on the other, she's seeing that for everything always. So you have a moment of seeing all of that happening.
Yeah, there is a second that's just the world feels off slightly, but also, you know, she trusts Tia, she pulls up her hood, and she gets out of the car and starts swiftly walking towards this group. Just the whole time, like, okay, we got this shit. Put on your bureaucrat. Put on your bureaucrat, Nidra.
Well, the two like obviously different people are still in the car, just like
Watching.
just like,
Nice. Cool.
release us. Release us.
Not yet.
So yeah, so there is a large person, a boat of a car, or just normal person, a boat of a car, one of the two.
It's a normal person, boat of a car. They are making their way to get back into the car as you are coming out to make the distraction. Do you want to make sure you make note of them?
Yes, I will try and like get a look at them or their license plate or something.
Diane. God help me if it's Diane.
Does she have a custom license plate?
Does it say essential oils, but there's no...
Oh,
There's like many vowels missing?
with heat transfer vinyl.
So, do you... Like, because you could take a picture of this guy right now if you, like, had a quick way to do that.
Take my flip phone.
You know, well, I mean, she has her own devices. Nidra is literally, in the entire time you have known her, none of you have seen her where she does not have an electronic device on her at all. And if she does, she gets really twitchy. Oh my gosh. So yeah, if I think I can get away with it, I will certainly try.
Okay.
To grab a pic. Honestly, probably of the whole scene, in case we just fuck this up blindly.
Listen, you have 2 like nuclear options waiting to go.
Those draw so much attention. We're gonna draw so like, oh my god, her brain is just spinning. It's the right thing to do. There's somebody in danger. It's the right thing to do. Oh my god, this is not the smartest decision. Oh no.
We're not superheroes. We're like chaos people.
Yep. Nope. We have big problems, and we're just trying to make sure that this one person doesn't have our type of problems, because no one deserves those.
We're just the yeasties.
Yeasty boys.
Yeasty boys and yeasty girl.
You can easily snap a picture. You don't need to make a roll or anything for this. You can take that picture. As you like step out into the road, they drive off. Just one quick moment. Christiana, does a scar activate when you use that power at all?
Nope.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Thankfully, all
You
of
picked
my
that
scars
scar
are
for you, didn't you?
persistent.
Oh,
I
nice.
chose persistent, terrible things to happen to me. I get hurt really easily. I can't go out in the light, and I have hallucinations. The only other ones that require me to be hurt, I haven't used those yet. I'm hoping I don't have to use those yet.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
I just wanted to check. What do you do, Nidra? How do you go about this distraction?
Nidra is literally, after like fucking pep talking herself, just gonna head up to the second vehicle with the lights on and like just knock on the driver's window. And basically see who the fuck responds.
Francis is gonna turn to May. You're on tap for Plan B, right?
Tap. Yep.
I totally take your hood and I pull it over your head.
It's
It's
a pink
gone.
Gap hoodie. It's really ragged,
It's
but
pink?
of course it's pink. Gap.
Fucking pink. You on tap if Nitro's in trouble? Second
I'm in.
distraction? Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, so driving this particular van, he is just like a normal guy wearing a security uniform that they like hired to drive the van.
Mm-hmm.
So when you knock on the window, he rolls it down, sets down his phone. Can I help you?
Yeah, this is honestly, you've got a kind of a weird setup going here. I'm kind of just curious what the city permits are on this organization right now, on this operation. It is really late.
Look, I'm just got hired to drive. I'm just going where they tell me. You would have, they should be around. They'd have any permits.
So who is they and where should I be looking?
The people from Helping Hands. I
Okay.
thought they were just at the back of the van.
Okay. All right. And like, this literally seems to be Joe Schmo, like, not even sure what's happening here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He's just wearing a security uniform and.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Do you have the name of who's in charge of this group?
Hold on a sec. I got paperwork here.
Nitro's getting that info.
Tonight I'm working for, an Alan? Looks like here we were hired by someone named Diane, but, supposed to be under the management of Alan. Yeah, he should
Got
be
it.
around somewhere. If there's any permits that we need, he should have them.
Okay, yeah, I'll go take a look. But yeah, like, just letting you know, if this may turn into something where y'all have to pack up for the night, but I'll go take a look. Thank you.
Now,
And then-
how does
Diane.
Nidra, how many people's attention does Nidra have with this? Like, has she managed to annoy enough people that all the drivers are turned around trying to figure out if they need to pull out their paperwork or...
Let me see here.
So smart. Good job.
I come from a corporate culture.
So smart.
This entire time, me as a player, I'm just like, how is this working so far? This is right about when everything goes bad.
Make a presence subterfuge roll to see how well you got everybody's.
Got it.
2 more dice to this because of blessing.
Oh yeah, you get 2 more dice.
That's great. Blarney stoned me up. And honestly, lying is one of the few things Nidra's actually not bad at.
We all have strengths. We all have weaknesses.
That is 3 successes.
No,
I mean, it was 6 dice. We were going to get something.
it's still
That's
good.
like half. That's half. It's 50% rate. That's great.
So as you talk to this other driver, you can see in the mirror in the van in front of you, you can see them watching you. So you have all their attention. And this guy's not suspicious. He just thinks you're a concerned citizen.
Okay, then if
A
everybody's
nosy
paying,
person.
if everybody's paying attention to Nidra, the nosy neighbor who just wants to check all the permits, then I want to go ahead and take this time when nobody's looking to use my flight ability to glide across the road to hit the building directly above and to the side of the vans.
Okay. Do you have to make a roll for your flight ability?
Yes, because while it is persistent, because I always have wings, it also, the scar entangled with it is cooldown because of I am so heavy, my bones are not hollow, and I have all those electronics, so I struggle to fly under my own weight. So my scar means that if I roll really, really bad, my wings will just shut down.
What a god. What a god.
You
What
know,
a bird god.
there's a reason. There's a reason they tried to replace me. They tried.
Have you tried
Replace
turning the wings off and back on again by any chance?
You know, I keep putting them bitches in sleep mode for like 8 hours a day, and they just don't give a fuck.
Do they hold charge anymore? Do they hold charge?
Only as long as I keep getting lychees, and y'all keep bringing me like rambutans and shit. But it's fine. It's fine. We're friends, and I love you. It's the best worship I've gotten in years. I'll take it, I guess. All right, so I think that means I have to roll. I have to roll my physical pool, correct? I can't lie. I'm not entirely. I'm like only half aware of what my physical pool is. I'm like, is that my athletics plus my strength?
Hold on. I'm just trying to find the ability real quick so I can.
Remind me what the thing is called, the ability?
The ability is flight, which is on page 119.
119. Okay, that's helpful.
Get you
Thank
on
you.
the dock.
This
And
is the
I
kind of
have it
game
at
where
magnitude 2. So that I can glide.
for those of you who don't know about Deviant, we have magnitude, which means the more magnitude we have, the stronger we are, essentially.
Yeah,
But it also
there-
comes with drawbacks.
Yes, we all have drawbacks, namely, like, because I only have Shadows of the Past at 1, I only get hazy images, but if I put more into it, things start getting more clear, which also means I start tripping the fuck out later on more and more, which is gonna be fun for her, because she's not exactly grounded in reality to begin with.
Oh boy.
There's 3 different kinds of these,
Okay.
by the way. It's interesting. We'll talk later. See me after the show. I'll tell you more
So,
about the game.
make a Dex athletics roll. So you're gonna combine as all your dots in athletics, and then with your dots in dexterity. And that's your
Okay.
dice pool.
Don't I also get dice for my magnitude?
I believe so.
Okay. Because my dexterity is terrible because I'm so big I crash into things. So I'm like, oh Lord, I need that extra. All right, so 1 for my dexterity and 2 for my athletics and 2 for my magnitude. So that's 5. Let's go ahead and roll.
And let's see.
Get you on the dock, Arnica. We're gonna get you on the dock. Your life is about to get a lot easier. I've seen that on the dock. We have a big dock that maps out all of our variations of scars.
Ah,
Because let me tell
okay.
you, this book is dense.
It's dense.
Very dense.
she's a little rough.
Yeah,
It's
just
cool, but it takes. Yeah.
just roll it like that. This is more for your landing or anything, but because there's a different when it's a controlled variation, it's a different dice pool. But this will work for this.
Okay. All right. So right now I have it that I rolled 5d10. Was that the right number of d10?
Correct.
All right, boom. So I got a 10, a 9, a 3, a 2, and a 1. So I get to re-roll the 10,
Correct.
but only the 10, not the 9, correct?
Yes.
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 All right. So I got 2 successes plus, let's re-roll that 10. That 10's a 4. So I've got 2 successes.
Get that body over the gap. Let's go. Hustle.
You fly over. Did you want to land on the vans? Or-
At this point, if I'm too low, I will most certainly land on the vans. But if I'm high enough, I'd like to land on the building across from them so that I can drop down onto the van if I need to distract them from Nidra.
Nidra seems to be fine. So you can land on the roof. 2 successes, more than enough to land on the roof.
Cool. So I soar across the street while no one's looking. There may be someone who stepped out from the bar a couple streets down, but they're really blitzed and they weren't really looking in my direction anyway, so it doesn't matter. I land on the roof and I creep very quietly over to the edge and just very lightly peer. I'm keeping my eyes firmly on Nidra. If you were close enough to see me, you would see that my pupils have contracted in a spiral pattern like a falcon.
As you go to the other rooftop, I would also like, because we're in this alley and it's been established there's a fire escape going up. I would like to take the other rooftop, so we're basically nuclear option on each rooftop. If something goes wrong, ready to just both of us like people's elbow to the van. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
So I'm gonna open the door. Like now that both Gail and Francis are out, I feel like the van like can breathe and it like lifts back up like it was
Boing.
down.
The shocks release.
Yeah, right. The shocks are like, oh my god, I
love
can't
when
do
that
this
happens.
anymore. They're having like their own anxiety attack. And Francis is going to kind of climb up the fire escape to get to the other rooftop and kind of look out and give Gail a little wave and then watch Nidra.
I appreciate our
Like,
guardian gargoyles.
Truly. We are!
So,
Sexy like Goliath. Okay, I'm done.
Nidra, what do you do now?
Well, she's gonna go ahead and walk around the back to see again. Can she find Sally? Can she find, somebody that she need? Like she. So
Okay.
we got the security guys, but she's looking for Sally.
So when you walk back around to the back of the van, there's nobody there, right? On one side is the library, which is closed, and the other side is like the back of like a strip mall of like 3 businesses, all of which are closed up. The van door is open just a little bit. Now that you're like actually looking for it, it's the back of it's open just a little bit. And as you go back to the back of it, the other van pulls away. You hear the engine as it drives away. This one doesn't move.
Fortune favors, and open the back door.
Inside sits 2 young teenage girls. One, you can assume, is Sally. They're not tied up or anything. Sally has like a grocery store sub that she's eating, and a bottle of water. Nothing else that you see seems amiss right now. And that is where we're going to go to break.
I don't know what happens.
Oh, this is not going to be fun.
So make sure
Oh,
you
it'll
all
be
tune in
great.
after the break.
This was absolutely a trap. Make sure you see us get caught in it
Yeah.
after the break.
Can't wait. Thank you all for
know.
joining us so
Buses?
far.
I fear no
I'm scared.
traps. I should fear like 3 traps.
You are the bird god. There is no trap.
We should also give a shout out. Make yourself 01 cheered 100 bits earlier. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, siblings. Good job.
We'll see everybody real soon.
All right.
We'll be
We'll
back.
be
Shout us on the
back
break.
soon.
Tweet about the
Go
show.
pee,
Get other people to
Bye. Well, not bye. We'll see you in a little bit.
watch. 5 minutes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Nature just opened a door and revealed that Sally, another girl in the back of the van. Sally had food. The other girl is just sitting there. It seems like they were quietly talking to each other before you opened the door. They're looking at you surprised.
Hi. Sorry. Is there... And I was told there was an Alan back here.
Alan said he had to take care of some other things, and he gave me the sandwich, and then he left. I don't...
Okay. Hi. Sorry. You are... You... Who... I was about to say it is late and you are in the back of a van. Who are you?
I'm sorry, who are you? Do you work with Helping Hands?
No. Sorry, this one's gonna sound really weird, but it's the truth, I promise. I noticed that you were talking online a lot about how you were really worried about your friend and all this, and I just... I know some people who've had some bad experiences with Helping Hands, so I came to see what was going on down here.
Oh, well,
I'm Root Seller. I've been talking online on Root Seller.
oh, hi. Yeah, that's Jennifer. I found her. I guess she's been staying in one of their help centers for a little bit. Has
Jennifer said a word yet?
No, Jennifer has not said anything.
Okay.
Not since you opened the door.
Okay. So yeah,
Wait, are they dangerous? You said somebody had bad experience with them?
yeah, it was actually ended up being kind of dangerous. They didn't want to stay there and they kept them there. So, that's why when you were talking about your friend, I was really worried and like, look, are you okay? And I looked at Jennifer.
She doesn't look at you. She just nods.
I mean, your friend's here, and you don't have to stay. Like, people have clearly been worried about you. Or
Sally speaks up. She's clearly talking to Jennifer. Maybe if they're dangerous, maybe we should just go somewhere else tonight. Yeah,
you don't... I honestly, if you don't... the guy just left, and... if he didn't tell you a real plan, maybe come back to this in the daylight, not like this.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So yeah, out of van maybe? Like I'll help you figure out a plan. Just like I said, I've seen a lot of weird stuff about like this group online. Maybe take a second before you like just go with them. Because you've been seeing it too. Like I know you've been seeing it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. She has like a drawstring bag. She wraps her sandwich back up, puts it back in there.
Also, You left your jacket outside?
My jacket?
Yeah, there's a jacket out by. Is that yours?
No? Is it yours, Jennifer? And for the first time, Jennifer speaks in a really quiet voice. Oh, yeah, I dropped it earlier and forgot to go back for it.
Okay. So yeah, we can go do that. Honestly, this system doesn't have an insight, so like if I'm worried about this behavior, what do you recommend, ST?
Well, my first question is do you have any variations that would help you understand what they're...
Not particularly, because she's, again, very focused on technology rather than sensing some of that variation. The closest is, can she sense, like, electronics on them?
Sally has a phone. Like
Okay.
like you can sense like a flip phone.
Okay. And Jennifer
One in
doesn't
Milwaukee.
seem to have one?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, there's not really, like, I guess you could try to pick up if they're lying by, like, through subterfuge or something, but
Okay.
you could
Anything
also,
might
I was
work.
gonna say, you could also try to, like, investigate by, like, looking over them. I'm sorry, what was that?
That's fine. I am glad to do investigation. I was just like, what?
Empathy would also work in the
What
Oh,
can I
yes,
ask?
Yeah.
empathy would also work. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
any of the social skills.
I think, honestly, given who Nidra is, she is more likely to investigate than she is to empathy. As weird as that one may sound.
Okay.
Like, she's just looking for odd things in this scene.
So that's going to be like intelligence intelligence investigation.
Okay.
This is just going to give you like
It's
it's going to give you
odd-
different this is going to give you different info, but it'll give you stuff from the van, stuff from either of the girls.
Oh, thank you, Zeros. Come here. Okay, you don't count.
Uh-oh. There's a lot of don't counts.
It's fine. We're fine.
Are we
that
fine,
is-
Nidra? Are we fine?
We fine? Are we?
Are we?
I mean, fingers crossed. So 3 success.
Hey, we are fine.
Feels
Hopefully.
fine. Who knows?
Fine. Let's find out.
I think you mean let's find out. Thank you. I'll be here next week.
Okay. So the inside of this van is pretty sterile. There is like one package of like water with like 12 bottles in it. 11 bottles, sorry. It is open, and Sally has that one bottle. Like, if it was being used to hand out supplies, it's since been emptied, right? And it's been cleaned up. So the back of the van doesn't, like, there's nothing really suspicious about it. You know, little wear and tear on the van and stuff. You notice Sally is wearing slightly newer clothes, but they are a little dirty. They look like they haven't been washed in a couple of days. It seems like she's been living on the streets. But Jennifer has brand new clothes. She has brand new clothes. As you look over the van, you do you notice that she's pretty stiff. She's not interacting with you. Her eyes are always on Sally. I'm trying to think there's not a lot that this can tell you necessarily.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean that Jennifer looks like she's had a chance to clean up, get a shower, maybe maybe a haircut, or her hair's looks like might have been trimmed recently, stuff like that. Not a whole lot else there.
Okay. Yeah. Are you okay? You seem looking to Jennifer. You seem really out of it, and are you okay?
Doing too much reading. You're doing too much reading, Sophia. Doing too much reading for a simple question.
I'm just
He's
trying
gonna
to
attack
remember
us. It's a
one
trap.
thing.
Too
One
much reading
thing.
for one question. I'm so scared.
We gonna get jumped.
Listen, it's pummeling time.
Yeah, I'm curious about what y'all are doing up on the roof.
We're having a pose off.
So while I figure out how I want to answer that question,
How Sophia wants to murder us.
Gail and
Is she fine?
Francis, give
Yes.
me.
No, what have I done?
All attention on us. If we die, it's on you.
Yeah, you know what?
Give me strength, I dare you.
Composure streetwise rolls.
Christ.
All right, composure and
Composure's 2.
streetwise.
I get 1 for streetwise, thank God.
Hey!
Where'd my damn
Thank
form go?
Hashem.
I just opened that bitch. Okay, hold on.
You ready, Gail? Hold my hand while we do this. From across the alley. Hold my hand.
Alright, let's see. I have no streetwise because I don't go out in the street, but I do have 3 composure. I rolled a 10, a 4, and a 2, so I get to roll that 10 again.
Rolled 1.
And I
One
rolled
success.
a 9.
Hey!
So I got-
So let's...
2
You got 2.
successes.
I got 1 success.
Okay, so Francis, you don't notice anything.
I'm really
You're
locked in
you're
on-
watching the street. There's a little bit of traffic, foot traffic. There's a couple of cars. It all seems normal to you.
You know what? I have little stone eyes. I can't see. I don't have my glasses. They don't make glasses for giant clay people. Not
Gail,
yet.
2 blocks down, there's a big billboard. On the billboard, it advertises Aphrodite security system or services. They're just buy a security alarm from us, whatever. But you've noticed there's a turnoff there, and for the 3rd time, the same red sedan has just pulled up to that corner and is signaling to turn. They've been going around the block, coming up, stopping next to that billboard, and then going back around the block. They've just done it for the 3rd time.
Oh, suspicious.
Okay, now, is that on my side of the alley or on Francis's side of the alley?
Your side.
Okay,
They're a little bit down the street. Like, you're seeing this from the rooftops.
Bird
Like,
'em, baby.
From your perch on the rooftop.
Bird 'em.
Bird 'em.
So,
Give him a
yeah.
1-2 bird.
I'm not sure exactly what's going on down there in the alley, but it kind of looks like Nidra has it under control. It just looks like there's a lot of talking. She doesn't look stoked, but she doesn't look scared. So I'm gonna trust Francis to have this. If push comes to shove, Francis is just as good at landing on top of a van with a frightening amount of force as I am. So I'm gonna go ahead and creep across the flat roof of town of this building till I get to the other edge so that I can look closer at that red sedan.
Okay.
I've been known to pop open a can of tuna.
What does that even look like? I'm just imagining what your clay golem looks like
I just
trying to
squeeze
open up a
it.
single
I just
can.
squeeze
It's
it
a
and it
Popeye.
opens.
Like Popeye,
It's just
yeah, like spinach.
It's like Popeye. For those just joining us, I'm playing a giant Jewish clay golem. I think that's not indicative based on what I look like, so I feel like I need to reiterate. I am a giant clay person.
Okay, I'll help you bulk. We'll figure it out.
We're gonna. Protein's good for you. We're bulking.
I mean,
I could just have Patina Miller's arms, you know.
We currently have a
just,
bird person, a seer,
doing
a
some
Jewish clay
calculations
golem,
here.
a cyborg, and a cyborg burb.
burp.
So we have one person who actually looks like a person for the most part. Mostly.
You just
comes
have
more
horrible
than-
anxiety.
It's even more realistic.
And our team name is the Yeasty Boys.
And girls. Girl.
And girl.
Okay. So. Okay, you move into position to get a better look. And in doing so, you notice that these are definitely some folks that are devoted to helping hands. They
That's
are
exciting.
attempting to follow you as a group when you leave, right? They are waiting for you. So here's what happens. Because you know, and because they failed their confrontation roll, you get to add a complication to when they follow, because you know they're there.
Oil spill. Does the bread truck have
In
oil?
Milwaukee?
Oh, curdled milk. I don't know. I'm Canadian. I don't know this stuff.
Put some cheese on the road. Pave it.
Okay, so I'm going to, for a few minutes, now that I know that they're there and they've been circling around, I'm going to kind of lay myself as flat to the roof as I can so that they can't see the light from my one tiny little... I also have a phone. I'm not great with it. I mostly just use it to go to Reddit and go to dank memes. But that
This
said,
bird loves it.
I can most certainly text. And so I'm going to go ahead and text May and let her know that we have followers around the corner and send her a picture of it.
And not the good kind of followers that the bird god likes.
Yeah, no, not even the kind I like. It's more of a shame for them than me, really.
I have to decide on a ringtone at some point. But my phone buzzes. I go, oh, a message from Gail. Oh, no. Wait, so who's in the car with me at this point? Tia? Because Francis left. Tia!
Oh.
It's pretty much just me right now.
Tia!
I'm really the only one who's there. Yeah, what?
Gail texted and said that there's a car that's suspicious and follow. Let me double check. What do you say in the text again?
I just said they're following us, and I took a picture. It's not a great picture, but it is clear enough that you can see it's a red car and that there are people in the front.
Look, she sent a picture. They're following us. Very suspicious.
Not good. We really need to hurry up with this. This is not a good thing to stay here.
Should I? Do you want to go? Should I go? What should we do?
Text Nidra quickly. It's like, we are going to be followed. Need to hurry. Just like very quickly messaging Nidra, just like the most minimal amount of communication needed to get across the point that we need to hurry the fuck up.
Hey.
Okay. So, Nidra.
Hmm.
Jennifer looks at you.
Uh-huh.
She's, I'm fine. Just a little tired. Yeah, I think we should maybe go to the park or something instead.
Okay. Yeah. We'll help you get wherever you need to go. She'll look at her phone as it goes off, and basic message back of there's a pause of a slightly oh no face, and then like a text back of found Sally. Her friend is acting weird. Might be bad, but I'm trying to get them away from Helping Hands, and they're coming. And then, okay, so come on, let's go. Let's leave Mr. Security and his van, and just be somewhere else right now. Because I'm kind of honestly, I'm just a little worried. Like, did they give you like medicine or something? You just okay. Anyway, let's and we'll literally just move away and like okay, try and persuade them out of the van and let's go. Because right now she has a firm sense that they are sitting in the middle of something.
Okay. So you're trying to convince them to come back to the van with you, correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so roll presence, persuasion,
Okay.
and we'll see if they'll come back with you.
Sure. Okay, that is just the one success.
Ooh.
Is what it is.
Oh,
Okay. They're hesitant, so Sally asks, can you just drop us off in the park?
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. It's just unfortunately I have a crappy truck. Sorry. But yeah, we can. I just want to make sure that you and your friend are safe. And we will head back towards and like we'll pass by the jacket to see if somebody grabs the jacket because that's still weird to her.
Oh, yeah. Like, as you go, Jennifer will ask if it's okay if she grabs her jacket.
Yeah, sure.
So she walks over.
Because I thought, like storyteller wise, I thought Tia said that the person who left and lost the jacket was Sally. So that's where I'm getting.
No. In the vision, Sally walked by the bush where the jacket was left, but you didn't see whether or not she left the. You only seen that she was basically going back around the.
All right, awesome.
Sophia, may I ask a clarifying question about the vision then?
Yes.
When Sally was walking by the bush at that time, since we saw the bush, was there a jacket under there already? Or is it not there?
No, it wasn't there in the vision.
Interesting. Okay, so Jennifer's been missing. Sorry, I'm just making sure that the pieces are lined up in here. Jennifer went missing. Sally went to look for her. Sally met up with someone from Helping Hands. And at that point, Jennifer, we can assume, where was she? Was she outside the van? Because she had where did the jacket come from? There's a discrepancy here. I'm not smart enough to figure it out, but y'all got it. I got it.
Sure.
I'm on a roof.
So
I'm on a roof.
I'm on a roof.
Old Spice.
you are on a roof,
Go
and
on
you see us
the
moving
roof.
away from the.
That is the most absurd, out of context thing I've heard in ages. Just tell someone, what was your session like? I'm on a roof right now.
Roof. I'm on a roof.
So,
Not for long.
Not wrong.
Okay, so you're headed to, the park. I mean, if you need someplace like actually safe for a night, I can at least front you the cost for, a room for the night. Just trying to help.
they look at you for a moment, like lean in, like talk it out real quick. And then Sally says, yeah, that'd be nice. Thank you.
Sure. It's I get how shitty it is when you don't really have a place you're supposed to be. So cool. So then in that case, where do you want to go? At this point, she is unfortunately cannot resist herself because she is having a very stressful night, and I feel like Nidra is going to try and tap Sally's phone. I would like to activate electrokinesis.
Okay.
And do research and just analyze the data on the device.
Tasty. What a tasty variation.
Does this require a roll or anything?
Let me triple check myself. I think it does, but let me see what it wants.
Is it controlled?
Yeah. It is a toggle, so very likely. And I cannot spell kinesis. There we go. Haha.
For anyone who has not read this book before, it is very long and very in-depth, and it's great, but it's hard to find the information that you're trying to find quickly.
Cool. Deviant can affect objects in range with a size no greater than the variation's magnitude times star power. So it does say toggled. It does not say... Hang on. Here we go. Research. It does not list a role. If you want me to use input first in order to access any security on it first, that also does not list a role. So I don't know.
No, I don't think that's necessary. This phone's pretty simple. It's got a couple of numbers on it, like shelters, help organizations. There is definitely a number in there for that's definitely Jennifer's number. Like, there's a bunch of texts to Jennifer that haven't been answered in a few days. But otherwise, the phone's pretty empty and it's pretty basic.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So again, nothing really registering there. That's fine. And she immediately feels better because I've indulge the addictive variant. So yeah, just she's had a lot of trouble talking to these people. She's much better, talking with devices, and so it's almost like she has a comfort moment of, God, just let me talk to something that makes sense, and immediately just taps the phone and feels better. Just there's a little bit of the nervousness that settles back down. Okay, all right, sure. Let me and we'll basically reach into a wallet and be like, okay, so where are y'all headed? We can get you someplace safe for the night, and you can catch up. And I don't know, but if you do want to talk about like what happened there, I have a friend who'd really be willing to talk to you about whatever is going on over there, Jennifer.
Bold claim from you. Bold claim.
You
What,
are
have a
on a
friend?
roof.
I didn't say it. I said it.
Okay. They will name generic hotel down, somewhere down the road.
Okay. All right. So
You do, I'm assuming you read your text from your friend, so you do know that there are people waiting to follow you.
yep.
So, in which case, take an extra dice on your drive roll. Drive is a physical skill.
It is.
I would assume Dex, you're trying to be somewhat stealthy out and maneuver them, so.
Yep. And all right, drive plus Dex.
Channel your inner Vin Diesel.
No.
Family.
Look, some cars are smart enough to talk to me. This one is a very dumb vehicle.
Hey.
Some
Be nice
vehicles
to the
have
car.
feelings, too.
They're
There are no
trying.
electronic. There are no computer piece parts in this car. It's so old.
What about the radio?
That is 3 successes.
Okay.
Y'all at the car and you got 3 successes.
Intimidate the car.
How do you avoid them? What does this look like?
Sure. I feel like it is a case of
Are we getting back in the car?
yes, like
You just leave us here?
Well, are you going to
Doesn't know
leave
how to
us
deal with
hiding
this
on the
otherwise.
roof and shake them off?
Wait, did you come back to the
you're shaking
truck?
them off.
Did you
Great.
come back to the bread truck? Or are you using their car?
No, we're still hiding on top of the roofs, but I think Nidra took the girls to the bread truck.
Yes, we have to come back for them. That's the
Okay,
flaw
I was
in
gonna
this
say,
plan.
because I'm still in this truck, so I don't know where
is
you're
accurate.
putting these girls.
Well,
And I don't know
that's
if
the
you
thing.
want them to be seeing me. I'm zipped.
Your
you
hoodie.
know
That's
that-
fine.
You know that thing where you put your hoodie and you pull it as tight as
Yep.
you can so you can only see this? But there's some weird bulges.
So yeah, Nidra's going to, sorry, like I said, I didn't want to come out alone at night, so I have some friends with me, but it's fine.
I'm just cold. Hi.
they're gonna sit a little separate, and we're gonna get you where you need to be. And then Nidra is going to do this thing.
Who's
Deeply... Oh yeah, go.
who's sitting where?
Well, I'm probably, if I see you coming, I'll probably move to the back to like be out of the way. Because I would have been like at the window in the front being like, what's happening? But as I see you approach, I'd go in the back and like maybe we've got some, those old vans that have like the side seats that can flip down. We probably installed some of those, so I'm just like in the back, just with my hoodie. Hi. Don't worry about me.
So, yeah,
Very
the
worried
vehicle- The vehicle should still have Tia and May in the vehicle.
So where's Tia?
Yeah, Nidra's attempt, by the way, to shake is going to be, and I regret this fully, some fairly bad driving.
Oh no.
No. But that's the central thing, is that it's like gonna be somebody who has the left blinker on and then just last second takes a right, or like gooses it straight through the yellow at the last second, or just it is somebody that you would hate to be on the road with deeply, but that is her.
I was about to say, I don't think the rage that I have as a person towards many things in my life can match the rage I feel towards the folks who gun it towards a yellow. Or like try and gun it right out of a yellow.
While you all start chasing, I'm gonna point over to okay, this is a little out of left blue, but it is very hard to communicate when I am not capable of having a tiny device. So in my head, I have a child's walkie-talkie that I just give to someone on, like, the other one, someone just gets it on a random mission. And I will establish that because I just realized how frustrating it is just be here and not be able to communicate. So I'm gonna, for now, is it okay if I say Gail has it? That way we can still kind of communicate.
Yeah. Although we were doing the queen of big gesture.
We could keep doing that. You know what? Screw it. I will ask Nidra to like make my little Walkman like a Bluetooth headset.
Maybe this is one of our projects. This is something that we work on.
I'm gonna gesture to Gail and I'm gonna go.
And it's great because I'm like 3 roofs over, so mostly I'm just seeing blob, 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 bird, blob, bird, blob, and I'm like...
I like that you get bird.
It's really hard to not get.
So I'm going to creep back to the other roof so that we are just an alley apart, kind of gesturing. Terrible charades. Neither one of us is very good at charades. I'm adding in extra limbs, which does not help. And Francis ain't got no fingers, no expression, and we're just blobbing and flapping at each other, trying to express. We're pretty sure that she's doubling back. Pretty sure she's doubling back.
It's like you could have a conversation. Do we trust nature to come back? Cool.
Okay.
Are we I guess we'll monitor because there's no more vans left, right? I guess
they pulled off.
There's no one here. So
Check
there's
for
no one
traps.
around, right? Let's break in.
There's nobody.
Hey, they left us alone. Let's break in. I'm gonna drop down. I'm gonna like climb back down and just
Where are you
gesture
breaking
down.
into?
Aren't we by Helping Hands?
No, you're just
You're
by
at the library.
We're
You
going
want
to
to break into a
library.
library?
Actually, yes. I would love to break into the library and try and find the computer that... Wait, no. What I want to do... I want to investigate that bush. Because that is still bothering me. So I'm going to go, like, gesture and be like, no, I'm not good at this. I doubt Gail is good at this. Maybe if we both work together, we'll be better at it. So I'm gonna climb down and try and like examine the bush without getting spotted.
Let it be known, Frances is suspicious of Bush.
Frances, Bush, we don't know her.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to glide down. I don't even have to roll for that. I just have to extend my wings and break my fall. So I'm just gonna hop off the roof and join Francis. I have an investigation point. Let's go look at that bush. Look at that.
We're gonna bring it again. You know what? I bet I'm gonna turn to Gail. I bet we're gonna save the day. You and me, right now. We're going to save the day. We're
Sherlock
gonna do it.
and Adler. Oh yeah. Yeah, Gail doesn't know much about John Watson, but like she knows, but she just keeps forgetting him. She keeps thinking it's the story of Sherlock Holmes and Irene Adler. She's like Sherlock and Adler. Well, I can't get I think you look really cute in one of them little hats. And I kind of reach up. I kind of like gently pat at your head like I'm trying to mold it into a hat.
Oh, it doesn't. It
Oh no!
it like
I know
molds
it
a little
doesn't-
bit, but it's like trying to mold like clay that's on its way to being hardened. So it's like a little gloopy. So your little fingerprints are in there, but like it
Yes.
doesn't quite move the way you want
You
it
gotta
to.
spritz it. You need some water.
Don't
It just
Please don't
spritz
tell
your
her that.
friends.
please don't tell her that. Hey,
See, your
'cause
little, little
yeah,
hat.
yeah.
I
Ooh,
agree with
what?
Nidra's assessment in the chat.
We are.
You left the himbos alone.
Oh, they are
What
the
did you
himbos.
think was gonna happen? I'm going to
Critical.
investigate with my Irene Adler, and we're going to look at the bush.
Okay, so quick question. Christiana and May, do you pay attention to the girls in the van?
Heck yeah, I do.
Yeah, no, I was waiting to bring up. I was going to ask, like, is there anything else I can tell from how they're doing right now, outside of maybe understandably a little on edge?
So, if you want to roll like an empathy roll or an investigation, you can do that, as well as Gale, and that should be, empathy would be probably, I don't think it's presence, it may be composure.
Okay.
And then investigation would be intelligence.
Intelligence and investigation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 4 for me, baby.
3 for
We're both
me.
gonna look together, because we are big, strong, and beautiful, but we're not the brightest.
How
2
many was
dim
that?
light bulbs.
Nothing. 0. No
Okay.
success.
I got a
Oh,
9.
no.
Okay.
So I got the 1 success.
There's
But
one
out of
success
3 dice,
between
that's
us.
not bad.
I had 4, so to collectively...
Okay, out of 7, that's terrible.
I had 6 dice to work with on this because I have empathy at 3, composure at 3, and I have a specialty of insight at 3.
And
No successes.
No!
okay,
These sneaky little
Question.
bitches. I'm sorry, I
Question.
shouldn't call these children out their
Question.
names.
Those are
Question.
children.
I'm just
I
trying to
apologize.
recall, for my own benefit, how specializations just affect it, because I'm not remembering it off the top of my head how that affects.
You should get, I do believe you get 2 extra dice. Let me.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. So that's 2 more dice. So I have a total of 8 on
8.
anything related to checking the emotional well-being of another person. My
That's
emotional
amazing.
well-being is terrible, but emotional well-being understanding of others is great. This character is not in any way based off of me, I promise.
Also, to
a
clarify,
fun game.
like, they are both about 18, 19. Just to clarify that part. But,
The extra dice, I got exactly 1 success.
okay.
hey,
All I needed.
um,
Out of
I
how
had
many?
a question. I want to try and use a variation. I'm just not sure if it would be appropriate. So I have a variation called pheromones. It's at magnitude 2, and essentially what it does is whoever I target treats me with respect as if I had dots equal to half star power rounded up in the status merit associated with the in-group the victim or target most admires or wishes to earn the respect of.
That depends
I'm
on
just
what.
not
I
sure.
think that would, if you were trying to do like a manipulation or a presence thing, a social thing, I think that would be more in line.
Okay. Because I did want to also just like, even without that, I want to sidle up to them rather than like trying to get a sense of their empathy. I just want to like chat with them. Be like, hey, what's up?
Okay,
Through my
so
hoodie.
if we're gonna do that, we're gonna do that in just a second. We're gonna
Okay. I just wanted to check before
simultaneously
we
do
do
these
anything else.
investigation rolls.
One.
So
We got this, gang.
I want to be clear that Nidra didn't miss this earlier in you were more or less deceived. Christiana, you notice that after a while, it seems that Jennifer forgets that she needs to keep breathing.
Mm-hmm.
She just stops. She's doesn't pass out or anything. She just forgets that she needs to keep up that illusion.
Same.
Fleet and Gale, you
Francis and Gale.
are
No, I'm in
Francis
it now.
and
I
sorry.
am in it.
You have,
Wait, does this mean
I looked
Fleet
up
suddenly
and
become
seen
a foot
Fleet
and a half
in your
taller?
in your chat window, and I was like, Fleet and Gale. It's fine. I just
I'll
Francis
change
and
my
Gale.
name in here. Yes.
Thank you.
I got you.
You notice that there is fire damage to the underside of these bushes.
Bushes. Well, I don't notice anything. I'm just like looking at the ground, like.
Well, yeah, Gale notices.
Dirt.
Mm.
All right, so
The
as I
lesser
get in
clay.
closer, I can smell like the mulch has recently been burned, or that I'm gonna assume I can smell it because it's
Yeah.
dark. Nidra didn't see it. Francis isn't seeing it. I'm just gonna assume that I'm smelling it because Francis doesn't have a nose. It's not her fault.
Not my fault. I can smell, kind of, but it's like they're tiny holes. Smell.
Okay.
I don't know.
So as I lean closer and I reach under from where the strongest of the smell is, what do I touch as I reach under there?
It's just burnt mulch and leaves. Like there's a little bit of ash there. There's not like anything sinister or anything there. It's just like ashes, and like you can feel like the burnt remains of mulch. And
Yeah, so like I don't know how many mulch fires you've ever had to put out working at Burger King, but my number is 6. And so I know that there's no such thing as a not suspicious mulch fire. If you manage to catch mulch on fire, you, 1, put some effort in, and 2, it really likes to burn once it gets going. It likes to burn deep down in there, and you think you've stirred up enough water, you think you've poured it, and everyone goes back inside, and you're sitting in the drive-thru, and all of a sudden you look and the mulch's on fire again. So
like to be clear, there's no cigarette butts, there's nothing there. It's not still burning, nothing like that.
So there's no debris. It's just there's no sign of what started it. It's just hot,
correct.
burnt up mulch that's now cold. And has that affected the jacket? Is the jacket smoky? Has the jacket been burnt, or does it look like someone tried to hide the burnt mulch with the jacket?
So she did go back for the jacket, so you don't see the jacket.
Okay.
But in the van, there's like a quick glimpse for the audience. Yes, the jacket has a small burnt edge to it.
Oh, the cut.
Time out. I know we're doing tension. Are we all gonna ignore that Arnica had a Burger King arsonist that she had to deal with 6 times? Are we glazing over that? I mean,
Yeah.
we're all just agreeing to ignore it, right?
I want to know
That
about
seems
this
the vibe.
jacket.
That's like the least weird story about fast food I have to tell. My siblings have a much wilder one about the murderer who worked with them on the night shift at Tim Hortons.
That's important. That's
I'll
always
make you
where
sell.
they go.
Those sound like stories.
They are.
For
They're too
another
long
time.
to tell now, so we're gonna have to go back
That's a
to
different
investigate.
show.
Yeah, we
this
don't have to
mulch.
talk about it now. I gotta point out the weird thing when I see it.
That's on
Gotta
the
do it for the
show.
clip. All
So-
right,
so
so
then-
there's mulch. Burnt.
Burnt
And a
mulch.
burnt jacket.
Yeah, and then the audience gets like a quick cut, and you see that the the edge of the sleeve of the jacket has also been singed.
Right. So I'm going to pull out my crappy little phone and turn my flash up really high, and take a real quick picture of it and send it to May, because Nidra's driving, and it'll say, all it says is weird fire ?
You just took a picture of the bush?
Okay, look, and I'm going to turn my camera on so that Francis can get down real close. Something was on fire here, but the fire didn't spread.
They should have taken us with them. This is
Yeah,
what they got.
we probably should have gotten the truck. I'm
All right.
feeling weird about this now.
Meanwhile, in the truck.
Am I transforming and you're carrying me?
Let's see. So let's go meanwhile to the truck. Let's find out.
You said it was Jennifer who forgot to breathe?
Yes.
May does not notice this, correct? It's just me who picks up on this in this moment?
Correct.
I think she takes it in. She runs that thought through her head real quick. She like steels herself for a little bit, and she says, "When did it happen for you?"
Her head snaps around to you. What do you mean?
I'm asking you, when did it happen for you? For me, it was about 4 or 5 months ago. I can't go out during the day as much anymore. Light hurts me a lot, and most of the time when I'm looking at people, I'm always seeing them a few seconds behind or a few seconds faster than where they're going. It's tricky trying to hold together classes when everything's a little bit too fast and too slow most days.
It was yesterday. They've had me the whole time I've been missing, but everything changed yesterday.
It's rough getting used to it at the start, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you two, she talks to both of them. Do you two have any friends? Any other friends besides each other?
No.
Well, look, I'm very lucky. She like gestures over to May, and she says, May, I think it's safe to
You're sure?
show.
I don't want. Oh. And she just like undoes it like enough that you can see like this bit, and a few of the little flower petals just kind of pop out, and there's like, a little bit of the stuff kind of falls off of her face, and she's like, "Hey, me too. Don't worry about it."
So Sally does gasp, but Jennifer doesn't really react. Like, she looks at you, but Sally gasps.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Okay, this really changes a lot. And like, you still see that she's trying to pick her words because she's still trying to concentrate on driving. It's like,
Good.
did they want you to try and get your friend back too? Like, are you the bait? Because that would suck.
No. I wasn't supposed to go.
So this Alan guy helped you leave.
No, he didn't. I snuck out when they left. I followed them.
Wait, you fought in... Was that why you were in the back of the thing?
Yeah. Alan wasn't happy that I showed up. But then he got a phone call. Somebody told them something. I didn't hear all of it, but he wasn't happy. He told all the drivers to stay there and wait until they were told to leave. And then him and the other Helping Hands people left.
Do you think he got called about you missing? Or maybe something else?
He already knew because I was there. He was giving me a lecture about not listening, and then
That makes sense.
he told the drivers to stay there. Told me to wait with Sally. Said I was supposed to bring her back to Helping Hand when it was done. But I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, you're not gonna do that. You know that's wrong, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. All right.
I just don't know
Nidra.
what options I had.
Nidra, I don't think we can let them be on their own.
Yeah, so... Fuck. We have to... Okay, I apologize. Everybody hang on. I'm gonna drive kind of like a maniac for a second.
Uh-oh.
We have to go pick up 2 other people. They are weird looking, and they're very nice. Okay.
I thought you were already driving like a maniac.
Yes, and that was the warning everyone gets. Because I think they're trying to chase us.
Yeah. I wanted to ask just as a quick question to Sophia. While we're in the midst of truck chase, which I love as a description for what's going on, is it possible in the midst of that to ask Jennifer if she's okay? Like, is she hurting at all with dealing with what happened to her? And if there's anything I could do to help with that?
Yeah. I don't think I'm okay, but I think I'm okay in the moment, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not in any physical pain or anything.
You sure?
Yeah.
I can make you a thing to help if you need. Just let me know later after we're not going like
Yeah,
this.
I think it's right around that time where I think May and I clunk into one another. I'm like, May, there's thorns.
It's
Ow.
okay. The flowers make it softer. Sorry.
The thorns don't become soft. Thorns just hurt all the time. Ow.
Here, and I pull the hoodie like further over. I'm like, sorry.
Like she's just like
When I get stressed out. Sorry.
It makes
Oh.
sense, yeah.
So, at this point, Sally speaks up. Wait, what's going on?
Sally, I have a question for you. Did these people that you were with do anything weird to you that made you feel weird?
No, they just gave me food and told me to wait with Jennifer when she showed up.
Okay. Yeah, we'll explain when we're done. Woohoo! I'll explain later.
Just cut to us truck chase bad driving montage as we head back.
Yep. I was about to say, as we double back towards where I believe the rest of our people are.
Family.
Gail and Francis are sitting on like the sidewalk like a rock, paper, scissors. Like,
May, open the door. This is gonna be quick.
Get in the truck.
Yeah,
Wings
they-
open the back.
All right.
Truck goes up on the two wheels.
So you guys are coming in hot. We can hear
So
the
hot.
tires squealing from around the corner. It's enough to make us scramble to our feet. Francis, I know it's itchy. Get small. I know, girl. We're not going to fit. I need you to get small so I can pick you up.
all right. Francis sighs and activates my variation. Ooh. Mimicry. Mimicry is going to be controlled. I don't believe I have to roll for it if it's controlled. No, it's
Controlled is the one that I think
Is
you
the one I have to roll for.
Controlled
Okay.
definitely is the one you have to roll
I have
for. So
one
this could go
magnitude
very well.
with Frozen Heart as my.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
That's the trans experience, baby.
l-
It's
let me.
my trans experience.
Oof.
I'm going.
Too deep.
Okay,
cut was
so
too deep.
controlled variation. Your dice pool is your Scar Finesse, your variation magnitude, plus your acclamation.
My acclamation is always going to be 1. Or is it going to be 5 plus 1? Because that's usually with the
No,
acclamation.
that was stability.
That's
The
stability.
acclamation,
Right, that
the
is
acclamation
stability.
itself is
Just
is
the 1. All right, so I have
But
1. I have
you
2.
put points into acclamation as opposed to some of the rest of us, so you actually have something to add there.
Because I've been a golem for quite a while. Scar Finesse. I deeply apologize. Where would I be finding Scar Finesse? Is
So,
that just...
so Scar Finesse. If you look at your character sheet, each line has a thing that says Power Finesse Resistance. Your Scar Finesse is whichever finesse attribute your mimicry is related to. I don't know which one that is.
So what is your scar? It's Frozen Heart, right?
Yeah, Frozen Heart, and
What
it is
type of scars
it's
is it?
involuntary.
No. Is it physical, mental, or social?
Social.
Okay,
Social. So it would be finesse. So it would be manipulation.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
would be
that means I
added.
get
That would
two.
be the dice pool you're adding to it. That's what your scar
Thank
finesse would
you.
be for that. Because it's
Thank you.
the scars are always dependent by what type of attribute the scar falls under. That's what helps you figure it
Gotcha.
out.
Listen, reading is magic. Learning is fundamental. I got those mixed up.
It's gonna take at least like 2 or 3 of us to get all of these throughout this campaign, but
All
it'll be
right.
fine.
For
Mimicry,
everyone
baby.
watching, all of our superpowers, which are called variations, are entangled with our scars, which are the drawbacks.
Mhm.
And then
All
there's
right.
a bunch of other stuff you gotta know.
Okay, I got 2 successes. One was a 10 and one was an 8.
Hey!
Okay. You can. I mean, that's enough successes, but if you want, you can re-roll that 10.
I did. That was 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the re-roll.
That's okay. That's great.
All right, and I don't think I suffer then for my scar because I succeeded. Correct?
Let me check on that.
The controlled one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's attached to an involuntary scar, so I think if I fail, it triggers.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that sounds right.
Great. It's a monster of a scar I chose for this specific one for a very good reason that you'll all see another episode. Hopefully.
No, if you tune in next week, same
All
time,
right.
same place.
The clay begins to ripple, and it's almost as if Frances begins to shrink herself, and a shock of pink hair just grows out with its shaggy cut. They were a little brawnier. They were around 5'2". They're a little shorter. They have piercings on their eyebrow, on their ears. However, their scar, like that tattoo, still remains. And Francis is currently just in baggy sweatpants and a t-shirt that is like McDonald's, like stolen from somewhere, in like running shoes. Their nose is long and a little crooked. They're just kind of jagged in terms of what their facial features look like. There's something very intense about it, something very carved. Um, all right, I hope you're happy. Let's get this over with, yeah?
You're just so tiny like this. I'm going to go ahead and scoop Francis up and take a run at the truck. My speed's pretty good. My run speed's actually 11. So I'm going to let the truck go a little bit past us and run up behind it so I can grab it and sling us both in.
Okay.
Shoot a double.
For the purposes of this, because we're getting close to the end here, I'm going to let you have it without a roll.
Woo!
So you get into the van. You're all there.
Next time you better have a baby Bjorn for me.
See, you think you're kidding. All of a sudden, episode 4, you're going to be dangling from my baby Bjorn.
So here's how I want to end this, because I want to end with a slight cliffhanger, and then we'll kind of come back to this scene. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back, or we're going to fast forward a little bit to being at the compound with Nidra. You have that photograph you took earlier. This is for Christiana. That photograph is Jim Hansen. The
Muppet Man?
Henson, sorry.
Henson.
Sorry. I had it written down right, but not memorized correctly. Henson, the pastor for Seraph.
Oh, evil Kermit.
No.
Oh no!
No. I'm fine ending it there. Of just the last thing you see of the moment Nidra shows it to Tia, there is like a full manifestation of like a shadowy bird form, and she's not present. She is like, she's there, but like mentally she is gone. She is out of it right now.
Alright, yeah, and that is where we're going to end for tonight. I'm going to give everybody a chance to go around, give their outros. So we're going to go in the same order. So starting with Nidra, tell us who you are, where we can find you on the internet.
Hi, I have been Nidra Nikorchik for the last little bit here, but I am Abby. I will remain Abby in the future, and you can find me and my random nerd girl thoughts over at Twitter at Clarion Call. I tend to, post my schedule or any projects I'm on there, so definitely join us, and thank you for coming out tonight.
Okay, and Arnica.
Hi, I've been Gale, your biomechanical bird god, but all the rest of the time, I'm Arnica, and you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at ArnicaXRoss. Please swing by my Twitter this week as we are casting for my very first game where I will be GMing Avatar, A Ruin of Smoke and Ashes, which will be starting August of this year. Yeah, a month. Like a month from now. Oh my gosh. And I want you to be part of it. So swing by my Twitter, swing and apply. I'd love to see you there.
All right, and May.
Hello, I have been May, your strange rose girl person. My real name is Jessie. You can find me on Twitter at egglasses. That's EGGLASSES. Or just type egg in the thing and I'll pop up. I talk about a bunch of stuff. I retweet art. I don't know where this accent came from. Sorry. Yeah, well, you'll have a good time. We'll chat about important things. And we'll have fun. I'm a cool person, I promise. Oh, and if you need help with business, I help people with business. That's my thing. That's all.
Francis.
Hi, everybody. My name is Fleet. You can find me at my dead name at SARA_DETRIK on Al Gore's internet. You can there find my schedule. Coming up, I am going to be playing Tales from the Flood on the 15th. I am going to be doing a folk horror D&D game on the 23rd, and I am also going to be running an Aliens game later in the month on the 31st as well for Chariot of the Gods. So please come and find me there. I also am currently collecting submissions for TTRPGs for justice and human rights. We are going to be collecting submissions. I know there's already one out on Itch. That's a really big bundle, but you can always donate twice. You can never have enough. We're doing a justice jam as well as taking donations, so let me know with the deadlines coming up. But we are giving all of the money we make to the Bridget Alliance, which is an organization that donates money to people who are seeking safe abortions out of state for food, lodging, travel, and childcare. So please, please, please hit me up on Twitter if you'd like to be a part of it. This is really important. Like, Deviant is all about getting mad and staying mad, so come stay mad with me.
Okay, and that leaves Angela.
Hello there, lovelies. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here tuning in to our macabre, hilarious, chaotic mess of a group, #PlayCrew. And we hope that you all will be joining us, the Yeasty Boys and the Yeasty Girl, in the episodes that follow from here on afterwards. I'm glad that Abby sunk her head in tandem with me. It's both deserved. You can find me on Twitter at Phoenix24Fem, on Patreon at Philosophym, where I post poetry, game designs, and creature designs in particular. Currently, I have 240 poems posted on there, half of which are publicly viewable, and the rest are patron locked, including original music that I've made, including the piece that I wrote as part of the promotion for my first ever game, Flame in the Abyss, that I released a couple months ago. That's a 3-person GMless game about trauma, memory, and learning to move on from grief. That is on my itch.io at Voice of the Phoenix, where you can also find a Slayer's Almanac chapbook dedicated to the Slayer's Almanac book that I was a writer in, as well as the currently 21 playbooks that I've created for the Slayer's RPG. Most of them inspired by Final Fantasy, one inspired by Destiny, and another one inspired by the Berserk series, because dark fantasy is my thing, apparently. I like grim, as I'm sure this story will also be at some point. But if you want to see a little bit of a happier take on me in actual play, where I'm just as emotionally wrecked, you can catch me on the Lancer game that happens on Wednesdays here on this channel for Love in the Time of Mechs. I wear a lot of hats, and I'm super excited to be a part of this gang for up until August. This is going to be a fun time. But I'll pass it over to our fantastic storyteller, Sophia.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. I am Nerdy Teddy. You can find me on Twitter at Nerdy Teddy, and usually over on Nerds with Dice. Currently on a bit of hiatus that'll end at the start of the month. Start of next month. Let's see. So I've got a few things going on this month. It suddenly got really busy, so I will be on a couple of different channels later this month. For sure, I will be on Lost Caravan. Just keep an eye out for those. I will post. I will make sure to retweet when I'm live. That'll be for. I'll be running Basic Witches, indie femme witch game. And then I will be in an Aliens game on there, and I will be... What was the other game? Wow, my brain is...
Think about
toast,
Purple
apparently.
Elephants. Purple Elephants works every time.
Oh, and a Cyberpunk Red game. That's
I
what
told
it
you.
is. I will also be potentially in another Alien game at the end of the month. Next week is Saturday, starting 10 p.m. CST, 11 p.m. EST. Me and the Bardic Knock will be doing a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament with a few other people to raise money for the Brigade Alliance. We've got giveaways, so we got coffee samples from Grinding Coffee Company and a few others. Everybody's going to be dressing up and playing as characters, so we got some great people doing that. So please come join us and help us raise money. And that is going to be all. Thank you again for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.